Good evening, everyone. Welcome. Glad to see everybody here. I'd like to call the Board of Commissioners' regular meeting of June 21 to order. And at this time, we'll ask the City Clerk, Beth Davis, to please call the roll.
Commissioner Jeff Sanford.
Here.
Commissioner Mark Caslen.
Here.
Mayor Tom Watson.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Larry Maglinger.
Here.
Commissioner Bob Glenn.
Here.
At this time, would you please stand if you're able for the invocation and the pledge.
Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, as we gather here today, we pray that we do our best, work together, and always make decisions that are best for our fellow citizens. We ask that you guide and direct our meeting so that it is full of wisdom and productivity. We pray that you keep our community safe and healthy. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Next item on the agenda, Owensboro Community and Technical College update. My friend, Dr. Scott Williams, President. Please come to the podium, state your name and address for the record, and do your thing.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Scott Williams, Owensboro Community and Technical College, 4800 New Hartford Road, Owensboro, Kentucky. So, Honorable Mayor, Commissioners, thank you so much for the invitation to update you on what's happening out at OCTC. So, the Mayor said I didn't have much time, so I'm going to get on into it. So,
Y'all have never heard his president's report.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely. You are correct. So, I'd like to start off with enrollment. Typically, the most often asked question, how's enrollment out of the college? And so, while the pandemic really had kind of a negative impact on enrollment, higher ed enrollment across the country, still impacted a lot of colleges and universities this past year. I'm pleased to report to you all that at OCTC we rebounded from the pandemic and had a strong enrollment this year. This fall we were up 5.3%, and that was actually the largest fall enrollment we've had in 7 years. So we definitely rebounded pre-pandemic numbers. Spring we were up 20%, and that was our semester hit the hardest last year during the pandemic. We rebounded from that and had an enrollment of almost 3,800 students. The summer enrollment was up 10%, and we're already showing strong enrollment for this fall, almost at 13%. So real kudos to our team members, our faculty and staff for really working hard out in the community and getting, for instance, I always tell everybody we can't carry out our mission to help individuals improve the quality of quality of life in our community if we don't have students to enroll and educate. So we're excited about that. We do more than just for-credit enrollment. So I wanted to share with y'all that last year, or this current school year, which is about over in June 30th is the end of our fiscal year, we had over 12,629 non-credit enrollments. This ranges anything from computer-based training all the way up to customized training for business and industry partners. In fact, this year alone, we actually worked with 875 different businesses in our region. And so that's a significantly large number. That was either for credit training, not for credit training, or through assessments in our assessment center. So we do a lot of pre-hire testing and so forth for many of the businesses in the area. Dual credit makes up about a third of our enrollment. That's students that are enrolled both in high school and college at the same time. Pleased to say our underrepresented minority enrollments were up this year significantly. In particular, our African American and Hispanic enrollments were up over 35%. And so one of the questions that was asked earlier by the mayor was what our graduation age categories were. And so for us, about 21% of our students who graduated were 18 years or younger. 81% of our students, 81% of our students that graduated were, 79% of our students that graduated this past year were age 19 or up, with 35% of our students graduating that were 25 and older. And so I think what that breakdown tells us is that we are meeting the needs of a broad spectrum of students in our community. And so that 35% number is pretty high for 25 and up, which leads us to believe that people are looking to make either skill up or advance in their careers or coming back for that advanced training to move up. And so we pride ourselves on being able to work with those working adults, and we've made a lot of changes in our delivery system to allow us to do that. So we're very excited about that. I want to give you an update on the Commonwealth West Healthcare Workforce Innovation Center. Just to give you a quick overview, this is a $38 million project. It is for 2 years of startup funds for a public-private partnership, and it's specifically to address the healthcare workforce shortage in the region. This particular project is a consortium of 8 colleges and universities within West Kentucky, Owensboro Health, and some other healthcare organizations within the region. There's 3 primary goals with this project: increase healthcare career pipeline, which is desperately needed through recruitment, establish a state-of-the-art simulation center to do more advanced training, and then finally increased shared instructional resources so that consortium colleges are more efficient in their delivery. So we're not just duplicating across all the colleges and universities. I really want to thank the commission, the mayor, as well as the county, and in particular Representative Miles for their leadership in helping us get this through the legislature. Also want to thank Representative Johnson and Senator Caslin for their assistance in getting this, I think, very innovative legislation through, and we're excited about this project. Where we are now in the project is we are currently creating an operational organization and working on agreements amongst all the institutions as well as the private entities. We're in the process of hiring staff for the project. We're also looking and we're developing plans for renovation and establishing what equipment we're going to need to purchase for the simulation center. We're currently building various allied health pathways, everything from initially where you can start to get your foot into the healthcare sector, like as a phlebotomist or a nurse aide, and then how you can parlay that and move up all the way up to somebody who might be a nursing, a physician's assistant or a nurse practitioner. And so we'll have those pathways developed so that everybody can see the career ladders. And there are many places where somebody can jump off and jump back in. And then finally, we are looking at starting our accelerated education pathways this fall, so where students can take advantage of dual credit to get a lot of their prerequisites out of the way for these programs that are selective admission, and that way when they graduate from high school they can get straight into college courses, into a program, and get out significantly faster. It shaves at least a year off of their program. So that's where we are with the Commonwealth West Healthcare Workforce Innovation Center, and we're excited to get this project up and running. I want to share with you all, we have really over the last 7 years moved into work and learn programming. This is basically where students can work full-time and go to school full-time. And so most of you may know this as our FAME program, which is actually a nationwide and started in the state of Kentucky as a federation for work and learn. At OCTC, we have the following work and learn programs. They include the FAME, which is we have 2 pathways in that. We have advanced manufacturing technicians as well as machinists. We also have a Go Females program, which is specific to those individuals, particularly underrepresented minorities that are working in production to advance up into a skilled trade and into maintenance, which typically are higher paying jobs. And so we have that program as well. They get an industrial maintenance technician degree. We also have one in a business administration called Go Careers, where they can get that degree. We work a lot with the local banking institutes with that. We also have a CDL Academy as well as some straight apprenticeships. So we actually have two apprenticeships, one with IBEW and one with Norman King Electric and Westerfield Electric. You can see here on the screen the number of students that we currently have in that program. It's 103, but that doesn't include our fall enrollment, so that's going to probably jump up to closer to 150, 175 by the time it's all said in the fall. To date, we have graduated almost 250 students through work and learn programs. These are extremely successful. Students in these programs stay in these programs. They've got a retention rate of almost 90%. And so they also, the companies like them because they're learning their education while they're also learning what the needs are in the businesses that they are working for. We have a lot of partners in our work and learn programs. For our Go Fame Careers Females, we have 37 companies that partner with us on that. Our CDL Driving Academy, we have 17 companies that partner with us on that. And then our electrical apprenticeship, as I mentioned, there are 3 companies, IBEW, Norman King Electric, and Westerfield Electric. I wanted to share with you also some of our student successes. So first of all, we have basically a nationally recognized year, went to a number of tournaments. They won over 50 individual awards, and while they won several tournaments, most noteworthy was they won the Kentucky Forensic Association State Championship in the 2-year division. So they do well in each and every year, and I want to thank Commissioner Dr. Bob Glenn. He is the faculty advisor for that program, and he does a wonderful job there. Our Phi Theta chapter, which is the National Honor Society for 2-year colleges, they won Top 50 Distinguished College Project this past year at their international conference, and a Top 100 chapter. They were recognized as a Top 100 chapter. And you say, well, that's not so good, is it? Well, there are 1,300 chapters internationally, so they're in the top 10% of all chapters in the country. So speaks highly of what those students are doing at not only our college, but across the country. Also want to recognize Miss Megan Fraley. She was a business administration student with us at OCTC, or currently is. She competed in the Kentucky State Pitch Contest, which is for 4-year and 2-year students, any collegiate students, and it's basically like a Shark Tank competition. She advanced through regionals, went to finals, and while she wasn't in the top 3, we're proud to say she was 4th and won the Entrepreneurial Spirit Award, as well as she did get a monetary award for that to help with her business, which was spinning craft. And so very entrepreneurial young lady and a real valuable member of our community, her and her husband. Celebrate a couple of things for the college this past year. This academic year, we earned Great Colleges to Work For status, which is sponsored. And it's a survey performed by MindThink. This is actually the second time we've earned this in the last 4 or 5 years, but we're excited about this because we were honored in 4 specific areas: supervisor effectiveness, leadership confidence, faculty and staff well-being, and diversity, inclusion, and belonging. So this is basically based upon surveys from our faculty and staff. So we felt like this was, we were quite honored to achieve this, and I hope to be able to next year share some even better news with you all for 2022 in this category. We also just recently this week found out that we were recognized as a Platinum Award winner in the Reader Choice Awards of the Messenger Inquirer for higher education. That's the 3rd year in a row, 4 out of the last 5 years, and we certainly are honored and deeply pleased that our community recognizes us as the go-to institution for higher education. Lastly, I do want to share with you all, I want to just extend my heartfelt thank you to the City Commission for the partnerships that we have with you all. They mean a lot to us, and we could not do these things without you to help improve the quality of life here in our community. More specifically, I want to thank you for allowing us to work with Owensboro Riverport Authority. If it wasn't for them, we would not really have a CDL Academy because we don't have any space for a driving range. But that partnership has worked out extremely well, has gone just gangbusters, and Mr. Mike Rogers, who is here, is with me, has really been a key member in pulling that all together for us. So also thank you for your partnership with the Reentry Success Program. That's 40 inmates that are going to be trained to get a certificate as a entry-level operator, Enhanced Operator 1. And so I believe that starts this week, actually, with 5 selected inmates. Also, I want to thank the Commission for the opportunity to participate with the Owensboro Transit Authority, or system, with our rideshare program. That's been hugely successful, and that's grown from 1,500 students last year to we had almost 2,000 students participate in that this year. And I think that makes a big difference because transportation is one of those key barriers for students in going to college. Also want to thank you for the partnership with Owensboro Fire Department and their paramedic training program. That's going well, and we're certainly excited to be able to assist in training paramedics for the fire department. Also, partnership with the police department, where we provide the opportunity to earn an associate's degree in law enforcement once that they graduate from doing their academy work. And so that's a great partnership, and we're excited to be a part of that. Finally, I want to thank the Commission for your support in our Experiential Learning Center. That's growing every day, working more closely with the community, gives us an opportunity to we're actually implementing a handshake program which allows all our business and industries to interact with students on our campus for potential jobs in a pipeline, for internships as well as careers. And with that, Mr. Mayor and Commission, I'll be glad to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you, Dr. Williams. Any questions from the dais? Since I'm on the, you got one?
Mm-hmm. Well,
it's your turn.
thank you.
Turn your mic on.
Mayor. Yes, I just wanted to make a comment that I got the opportunity. You were talking about the simulators, and Beverly's Hardy Slice, OCTC was there, and they had a simulator for welding, and it was just like the real deal. I welded in high school, and I was amazed at how it would tell you how to hold the rod and what speed to move it graded you, and good work on that.
Great.
And
Well,
glad
thank you
to
very
see it come
much.
in and get some good blue-collar jobs going.
Absolutely, we appreciate it. And if you want to try out the truck driving simulator, talk to Mr. Rogers. He'll fix you up.
You've already asked that. You've already
I've had 41 years at UPS, so
There you go.
I can back doubles if I have to.
Absolutely. Well, then it'll be a breeze for you.
Commissioner Glenn.
Given our shortage of CDL drivers, even with the city of Owensboro, I know that you have a lot of graduates, so how long does it take to complete a CDL certificate?
So, correct me if I'm wrong here, Mike, but I think 8 weeks, 4
4
weeks.
weeks.
So it's 4 weeks. Yeah, and we are running cohorts of either 6 or 12. So we've got 2 CDL instructors, and so we can run large cohorts, we can run, and we just started an evening cohort. So, most of the cohorts right now are actually what I would call the work and learn model. They're actually employees of a company, and the company is actually sponsoring them to go through the programming. So,
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome. And someone's been on the foundation board for longer than I can remember. I can vouch for how well things are going out there with your leadership and with Mike Rogers' leadership as well. The fact that it is gearing more and more towards the technical side has been a tremendous asset to our local businesses, where electricians and HVAC and all the things that you're doing out there has made a big difference. And because I have business owners tell me all the time, that, and I think Don Moore doesn't even hire anybody in their shop that hasn't graduated from your school. So great job for our community, and thank old Don Blanford, old former speaker at the House, fought like heck to get that school here, and it's a tremendous asset to our community.
Absolutely. Well, thank you.
I think
Thank
it's
you all. Appreciate
great.
it.
All right, thank you. Okay, the next item on the agenda is 5A. I would ask you to consider approval of minutes dated June 7 and June 14. I'll make a motion to approve these minutes. Could I have a second, please?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Item 5B, consider a board appointment. Owensboro Davis County Convention and Visitors Bureau Board of Directors. They're gracious enough to allow the city to have one member of that board, and we have former City Commissioner David Johnson to be reappointed to a 3-year term effective July the 2nd, 2022. I'll make a motion to approve these. Could I have a second, please?
Second?
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 6, ordinance, second reading. We have none. Item 7, the first reading. There will be no vote. Ms. Davis, please.
Consider ordinance 14-2022, and ordinance amending ordinance 9-2022 to establish revised compensation for city employees and non-elected city officers in accordance with a personnel and pay classification plan as required by KRS 83A.070, introduced and publicly read on first reading this 21st day of June 2022.
Thank you. City Manager, do you have any comments?
I do. Mayor, Commissioners, on May 17th, you approved the city's pay charts for the 22-23 fiscal year. Included on certain pay charts is the Kentucky Law Enforcement Foundation program, which we generally refer to as incentive pay or state incentive pay. Essentially, the state has provided $4,000 for each sworn police officer and firefighter for many years. However, the incentive was increased to $4,300 for the state biennium budget beginning July 1st. State law requires you approve the pay charts for city employees. Because the incentive funding is part of the compensation to certain employees and is recorded on our pay charts, we must amend our pay charts to reflect the new amount of $4,300 instead of the old amount of $4,000 provided previously. This is first reading of an ordinance amending the 22-23 fiscal year pay charts, with the only change from what you previously approved being the revised incentive amount.
Thank you. Any discussion from the dais? Hearing none. Okay, Ms. Davis, 7B, please.
Consider ordinance 15-2022, an ordinance amending the Owensboro zoning ordinance adopted March 14, 1980, so as to include within the B2 Central Business Zone property located at 407 East 3rd Street, introduced and publicly read on first reading this 21st day of June 2022.
City Manager, do you have any comments?
I do. For the typical property rezoned in the city, the rezoning becomes effective by operation of law 90 days following approval of the Planning Commission. However, during the first 21 days after the Planning Commission action, a person who believes they are aggrieved by the rezoning may file an appeal for the Board of Commissioners to reconsider the action of the Planning Commission. We received an appeal for the rezoning of 407 East 3rd Street. This is only the second appeal the city has ever received. Brian Howard, Executive Director of the Planning Commission, is here should you have technical questions. The appeal process is prescribed in state law, so City Attorney Mark Pfeiffer will guide the process.
Counsel?
Is Carol King Alvey here? She was the applicant. Miss Alvey? Is there anyone else here to speak on the rezoning of property at 407 East 3rd?
I'm the owner.
Are you Miss Cavini?
Yes.
Okay. You can make a statement if you wish. You don't have to, because the person who has basically argued for a rezoning is not here. So, okay. I guess if anybody has any questions of either Mr. Howard or Ms. Cavini, they can. The commission can use this opportunity to ask a question if you have any.
I'd just like Mr. Howard to explain what went on in this process to cause this appeal and kind of a little background to what's actually going on rather than.
Sure, be glad to. Brian Howard, the Director of the Owensboro Metropolitan Planning Commission. As City Manager explained, we did have a public hearing on this rezoning. At the meeting, there was some opposition. Questions were asked, mainly pertaining to hours of operation, potential traffic generation, and really the appropriateness of a specific use of the property versus the overall general zoning of the property. The vote was 6-1 recommending approval, and after the rezoning, after the Planning Commission meeting, an appeal was filed, as the City Manager explained, which then kicks it over to you all to take final action. I'm here to answer any questions that you all may have, but that was a real quick overview of what happened at the meeting.
So the call I got, it was a nice idea, but the wrong place. Is that basically what's they're talking about?
Right. I believe there was an article in the paper ahead of the meeting and then discussion at the meeting. The proposed use, as it stands now, is a bar that would serve food as well, and the concern was really regarding whether or not a bar is an appropriate use at that location. That was the main focus.
Okay. Council?
I would add that the rezoning was from light industrial to central business. So this property was not originally residential property in terms of the zone. And so it was actually rezoned to a less restrictive use. And I think that's worth considering.
Comments? Commissioner Sanford?
Yes, Mark. So what's the next step if the complainant does not show? What do we do
I
next?
think you would consider at the next meeting, you would have a second reading of the ordinance unless you felt, based on the record that was originally presented to planning and zoning, that for some reason the rezoning didn't meet or satisfy the comprehensive plan. Okay, so they found that it did by a 6-1 vote. Okay. And so at the second meeting, or you'd have a second reading of the ordinance and then consider it for passage and vote on it at the next meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Is that okay with everybody? Vote next time? Okay, any other questions? Thank you, Mr. Howard.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to municipal orders. Item 8A, Ms. Davis.
Consider municipal order 24-2022, a municipal order authorizing and directing the mayor to execute a mutual aid assistance agreement between the City of Owensboro and Hancock County, Kentucky, introduced and read for approval on one reading this 21st day of June 2022.
Thank you. I'll make a motion to approve this municipal order. Could I have a second, please?
Second.
City Manager, would you like to discuss this if we haven't already?
Yes, Mayor, this is a new item, so I'll give a brief explanation. At a couple of recent meetings, the board has approved mutual aid agreements following our assistance to other communities in the aftermath of the December tornado. Recently, Hancock County contacted us and requested a mutual aid agreement proactively instead of waiting until a time of need or following a disaster. Accordingly, this municipal order authorizes a mutual aid agreement with Hancock County. Since we've considered several mutual aid agreements recently, I've asked Chief Howard to prepare a list of the agencies with whom we have mutual aid agreements and what that entails, and we will get you that information by the end of the week.
Okay, any other discussion? Okay, we'll move on to item 9. You want to vote? Okay, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 9, City Manager items.
Mayor Angela Waninger will present the financial report through May.
Ms. Waniger.
Yes, Mayor. I've got the monthly financial report for the general fund through the month of May. We'll look at the current month activity as well as the year-to-date. So for the month of May, actual revenues of $3,943,337 were lower than budgeted revenues of $12,669,841. This is primarily due to timing in the budget versus actual for the ARPA funds. And just for point of reference, the budgeted ARPA fund accounts for $8.3 million of the $12.7 million revenue budget. Our next slide is the general fund revenues year-to-date for the 11 months. The revenues of $65,081,879 were lower than the budgeted revenues of $68,536,380. This variance is also primarily due to timing in the ARPA budget versus actual funds, a higher occupational withholding and net profits. For the month of May, our actual expenditures of $4,256,783 were lower than budgeted expenditures of $8,669,046 for a variance of $4,412,263. This is primarily due to timing in the contribution to OMU budget versus actual timing in the amount of $2.5 million. Also due to timing and maintenance and transfers out in savings in our personnel services. For the 11 months ended May, our actual expenditures of $57,896,751 were less than budgeted expenditures of $66,073,837. This is primarily due to timing in the contribution to the OMU budget versus actual, timing in maintenance and outside services, and savings in personnel services. And as an added note, we have $1.8 million through May in savings for personnel services due to vacancies primarily. And for our last slide, our monthly revenues and expenditures are cyclical based on the season and the time of year. This is the nature of finances at the city, and we budget accordingly to reflect this. This graph depicts the monthly actuals for revenues and expenditures, with the green line representing revenues and the red line representing expenditures. Our current year-to-date excess revenue over expenditures is $7,185,128. If anyone has any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Any questions? Okay, hearing none, I'll make a motion to file the report for audit. Could I have a second, please?
Second.
Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 9B, consider personnel appointments, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Damon Brandel, probationary full-time, non-civil service appointment to firefighter with the fire department effective July 5th, contingent upon successful completion of all post-offer pre-employment requirements. Henry Briner, Joseph Brown, William Riney, and Justin Wheeler, probationary full-time, non-civil service appointments to firefighter with the fire department effective August 15th, conditioned upon successful completion of all post-offer pre-employment requirements. Andrew Bell, regular full-time, non-civil service appointment to lieutenant with the fire department effective June 20th. Corey Grant, regular full-time, non-civil service appointment to captain with the fire department effective June 20th. Jonathan Cook, regular full-time, non-civil service appointment to laborer or maintenance helper with the grounds department effective June 20th. Andrew Osborne, regular full-time, non-civil service appointment to building maintenance and operations specialist with the buildings department effective June 20th. Ryan J. or Jake Trogdon, regular full-time, non-civil service appointment to street manager with the street department effective June 20th. Susan Howard, regular full-time, non-civil service appointment to office manager with the engineering department effective June 21st. And Evan Gogol, regular full-time, non-civil service appointment to housing and grant coordinator with community development effective June 28th.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve these probationary status or more regular status. Could I have a second, please?
Second?
Any discussion? I'd like to call on Josh Bachmeyer, please, with HR to give us a definition of contingent upon successful completion of all post-offer and pre-employment requirements, please.
Sure. Mayor, Commissioners, Josh Bachmeyer, HR Manager for the city. So typically we offer contingent job offers, and some of the things that offer may be contingent upon are references or background information, if we had yet to receive a psychological evaluation or the polygraph is incomplete, or we're just maybe simply waiting on a physical result. So typically it's just one of those things and something that's very minor, and we're comfortable putting them on the agenda. In the meantime, confident that that will successfully pass all those pre-employment requirements.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Thank you. City manager comments.
No other comments?
All right. Communication from elected officials. Commissioner Sanford.
Just a couple things, Mayor. Thank you. First of all, we took a tour, I believe, last Tuesday, and I want to thank the staff for putting that together. We got to see some pretty important things. The Northwest revitalization. Abby has done a really good job with that, and I appreciate that. That looks really good. Fire station on 54 expansion. It needed to be done, and it's nice. And the police training center, I was really impressed with that also. Things that needed to be done. It's not the flashy stuff, but stuff that's important to our community. So that was a good tour, and I appreciate you guys for putting that on. Number two, we're coming off Father's Day, and I look on social media a little bit here and there. People mention it to me about Owensboro and things going on, and the police department and people doing things they shouldn't with guns and such. And I'd just like to say, since it's Father's Day, if you have fathered a child, you need to know where your kids are. You need to be responsible, and you need to step up to the plate. The parents do. The police department cannot raise your parents. The city commission cannot raise your parents. The school teachers cannot raise your kids. It's up to you. So know where your kids are at and be responsible. That's all I have.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Maglinger.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to echo what Commissioner Sanford said about the tour. It was the Northwest is really coming along.
It's too hot.
It was hot, but the air conditioning worked some. But anyway, great tour. The things that we got to see were really needed, and I want to thank everybody involved. Thank you.
You're welcome. Commissioner Castleton.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, piggyback on what Jeff and Larry said, commissioners said. The tour was great. It was really nice to see the new gun range that the police department got. It was way overdue for them. Also, wanted to give a shout out to Rafe Buckner with the Northwest Alliance neighborhood. He organized a tour to the Sikh Museum in Russellville last Thursday, and I had the opportunity to go with him. It's a great trip, had about 65 people show up, and just wanted to say thanks to him for all he does for the Northwest area and the positive things he's involved in. Thank you, Mayor.
Can you tell us about the Sikh?
About the Sikh Museum?
Yes, please.
Yes, it's a Black History Museum, and they have tours of actual a plantation house that was there, and has a kitchen that is separate from the house, because back in those old days, you did not have your kitchen in your house. In case there was a fire, you wouldn't burn your house down. And they also had several different houses for where slaves were housed. The upstairs, 13, 15 people in a room at a time. Of course, very small windows, so they couldn't get out. And it was very interesting. And the crowd that went was outstanding. The kids were very polite, and everybody was focused on having a good time.
Well, you were the only one that got invited, I guess. I didn't hear anything about it.
I invited myself.
Okay.
I invited myself.
I'm glad you brought that up.
You know me, Mayor.
I do know you. Okay, just checking to make sure that people didn't think we were ignoring it. Commissioner Glenn. Were you through, Mark?
Yes.
Okay.
I took a tour. I wanted to echo all of our city employees' great work reflected through the tour we took. It was definitely an excellent opportunity to see where your tax dollars go. And all of the folks, the police department, fire department, and Abby are doing a great job, and we appreciate their great work. More importantly, with the police, the new police facility, what we hope, I think we all hope, sitting up here, is that it'll eventually become a police academy that OPD will run, and they'll no longer have to go to Richmond. So I'm excited for that eventuality. Some other things real quickly. I took a tour of the Empowerment Academy. It's a half-finished structure, but it's supposed to be a homeless shelter for high school age students who are kicked out of their home by their parents. We won't get into the morality of that. And homeless students at OCTC, which we have a problem every year. I have at least one student come up to me every semester and say to me, I've been booted out of my house. I don't know what I'm going to do. And what happened? They turned age 18. That was their sin. So that's what that's designed to do. If you get a chance to tour it, Vicki Quisenberry would be your contact with Davis County Public Schools Foundation. I'd encourage you to take a look at it. Angel Welsh has an event tomorrow for her new emergency women's shelter called My Sister's Keeper. That will be at that site. It's across from Mary, your old stomping grounds, the Watson Chiropractic. And so that'll be tomorrow. I think it's at 5 o'clock. And then finally, want to thank all those involved with the Juneteenth celebration at Kendall Perkins Park. Had a chance to attend that. It looked like it was a wonderful event and a great celebration of African-American history and community activism. And so I think the community's moving in the right direction. And that's all I've got.
You want to expound on my chiropractic clinic you're talking about?
She has mentioned, Angel has mentioned, she's the one who's hounding it, that it is across the street.
From a prosthetic and orthotic lab, not chiropractic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did I say chiropractic?
I'm just thinking,
My apologies.
I didn't
Sorry
snap
about that.
anybody's neck or anything like that.
You didn't do chiropractic?
Go ahead.
Okay, sorry about
We
that.
take care of people with limb loss. So I just wanted to make, for the record, right, counsel? All right, I have a couple of items. I want to read a letter, if you'll let me. On behalf of the City of Henderson and Henderson Fire Department, we want to express our deep appreciation for the assistance that the Owensboro Fire Department provided on Tuesday, June the 7th, 2022, while responding to a request to provide mutual aid for technical rescue at Big Rivers in Henderson. Fortunately for us, our dedicated personnel responded quickly, and additional resources, equipment, manpower to aid us in extremely complex and technical incident. Heat, humidity, and ever-changing conditions put all personnel involved in a stressful situation. Owensboro's personnel professionalism, technical training, and can-do attitude was demonstrated, and their contribution was very appreciated. These personnel understand the meaning of teamwork and communication, thus helping everyone on the scene. Again, thank you for your outstanding dedication. Signed, Mayor Steve Austin and Scott Freeman, Fire Chief. Chief, that's for you. I had the opportunity to welcome 1,000 lawyers in town at the same time, and I was told I couldn't do any lawyer jokes, so it was a short introduction. I want to thank J.D. Meyer for bringing the Kentucky Bar Association's statewide meeting here. And we have a media release that I want to read because it's a pretty important thing that one of our signature events that fireworks will soon light up the night sky as the City of Owensboro prepares for the annual All-American 4th of July event. Filled with fun, food, and celebration of freedom. The event begins at 5 p.m. on Monday, July 4, at Owensboro's riverfront, and wrap up with a grand fireworks display launching simultaneously from 4 locations throughout the city. We started that, I guess, during COVID maybe, and with such a good response that everybody didn't have to crowd downtown, so you can make every dog in every neighborhood upset instead of just the dogs downtown. So they were really excited about it. All-American 4th of July event is one of the biggest events of the year, and I want to thank Tim Ross and his group, his people at Public Events, and also our Public Works folks and all our public safety guys. To kick the night off, live music will be heard throughout the riverfront with a performance by Zoe Cephas and Funk Nasty. Is this real? Is this the real thing? And the downtown band. There'll also be plenty of food vendors and activities for children and adults. The Owensboro Convention Center will again host their 4th Fest, which includes free activities and entertainment to get everyone in a festive spirit. At 9:15, the 15-minute fireworks show will simultaneously begin at 4 locations in Owensboro: Owensboro Riverport, Center Court at Shively Park, Owensboro Sports Center, Moreland Park, and Owensboro Warehouse leasing the former GE plant. These 4 locations will allow viewers the opportunity to gather at the riverfront or for whatever they're comfortable from their backyard. Spectators can also tune in to WBKR 92.5 FM to listen to the soundtrack. Additionally, the roof of the Locust Street parking garage will be reserved for anyone with a handicap permit to enjoy the fireworks from the top of the parking garage at no charge. Individuals with limited mobility who wish to view the fireworks display from the riverfront can access a free golf cart shuttle between 7 p.m. and 10 p.m. There will be a mayor and a city commissioner riding the golf carts, and we have extended liability insurance there in that parking garage. So please note that it's going to be a big night, and we're very proud of our 4th of July celebration. So that's all I have tonight. We'll move on to open public forum. Members of the audience are invited to address the City Commission on any matter of public concern that was not on tonight's agenda. Comments are limited to issues within the scope and responsibility of this commission. Commission meetings are held to conduct city business on behalf, for the benefit of Owensboro City citizens and taxpayers. At this time, anyone who wishes to address the City Commission, please make their way to the podium to be recognized. Speakers must state their name and address for the clerk's record and limit their remarks to 3 minutes or less. Since the item is not on the agenda, no response is required from city staff or the commission. And the mayor reserves the right to extend the time to the speaker. We also ask if there's a large group, if you can designate a speaker so it will cut down some of the redundancy to it. So if you'll please state your name and address for the record, sir.
Sure. Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, ladies, Jerry Chapman, 2601 Elwood Court, Owensboro. As a child, when I looked around our city, I said, my God, there's a church on every corner. As an adult with children, I looked around in our city and I said, thank God there's a church on every corner. I think that's what this issue boils down to. Do we as leaders assume the perspective of a child or of a guardian? I'm not asking you to trample anyone's First Amendment rights tonight. This is not about the First Amendment. Taxation without representation, possibly the first slogan adopted by American colonists chafing under the British rule, and it's one of the primary causes of the American Revolution. The phrase taxation without representation describes a populace that is required to pay taxes to a government without having any say in that government's policies. Our tax dollars are being used to subsidize drag queen shows. That's taxation without representation. It's not about the First Amendment. I'm not here to condemn any person or any group. That's not my place, it's God's. I'm here representing a large segment of our population who want Owensboro to remain a good, wholesome, and loving place to raise their children. I was fully prepared to present a petition with at least 600 signatures of those people tonight. Collected, by the way, in only 12 days. That is until the leftists at Facebook and Change.org deleted the petition. I'm here on those signers' behalf to let you know that we do not appreciate your stewardship of our tax dollars. Funding facilities that openly court drag queen shows is not what Owensboro has ever been about. Yes, I know they rented the facilities, but we all know that that rent does not cover the full cost of those facilities. Otherwise, they wouldn't rely so heavily upon charity, our tax dollars, and volunteer labor. They can play financial shell games all they like, but the fact is their doors would not be open if not for the charity of the citizens of Owensboro and our tax money. If they want our money, I don't think it's too much to ask that they represent Owensboro with decency, dignity, and respect. Drag queen shows are none of those things. As I stand before you, I'd be willing to guarantee all of you have benefited by the Christian values we're here defending. Whether it was through your church, the decency and charity of friends, or possibly even strangers. Those values have always been fostered by our city and county leaders. And they've always been a source of strength for our community. This community deserves and expects a city commission who understands, appreciates, and defends those values. Use our tax dollars in a way that fairly and accurately represents this community. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chapman.
My name is Catherine Crow, 3301 Spring Ridge Parkway, Owensboro. I was here a couple of weeks ago speaking about this issue, and I know that the event took place this past weekend. It'll probably happen again next year, but we're here to try to stop it. In the beginning, we had a prayer, and the prayer said, we want what's best for our citizens. We want to do what's best for our citizens. We're just being bombarded right and left from the LGBT community, and I know, they're individuals and they have, they're children of God, but this is nothing to celebrate. It's nothing to celebrate. The lifestyle. I truly love them, but I'm going to be honest with them and tell them this is an abomination. In Owensboro, Davis County, I don't want it to become a woke community. We already have enough of those already. I don't want our schools to become that. I would like to be proud of Owensboro. But I'll tell you, I was shocked when I looked online and I saw what the Chamber of Commerce, the Owensboro Visitor Center, and what they were promoting. I'm telling you, it just about killed me looking at this because it was being promoted by organizations that I had no idea just thought that they would promote, family life. Owensboro has, I think they've even won awards that this is a great community to raise your families. To look at the success of Owensboro Community College. People are choosing to stay right here in Owensboro, send their children for 2 more years here. It's a great college, and we want to continue with that. And Commissioner Sandifer, you even said, what was going on this past weekend, Father's Day. It is the rights of parents, the right of the mother and the right of the father to bring up a family. And so that's what I'm here to speak on behalf of the 600 people that had signed that petition, which again, will find another way to bring more names so that you all will know it's not just 20 of us sitting here. We are representing hundreds and possibly even thousands, and those who really don't even know what's going on. But I love our downtown. I'm proud of it. I'm proud of the things that we have brought forward there. And it would be nice to come down every Friday night, bring your children to the park. But with these things going on, we can't do it. And eventually we won't be allowed to do it. And so I just, I hope and pray that you all take this into consideration. We don't want to offend anyone, but at the same time, we do want to promote the values that this country was founded on. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Hello, my name is Sharon Hatfield. My daughter was the cop that they said killed herself, and I'm just trying to come in front of the commissioner to see if I could get some help from the city to help me. Wait,
Take your time.
I just need help. I'm getting all her bills, everything, and I just come to the city to see if y'all can help me. That's all.
Say something, please.
You want to come to the podium and speak?
No, I'm begging you to please respond to her.
I have responded to her.
What'd you say, sir?
I have responded to you by email, with the email you send us.
Okay, I'm sorry. That's all.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Okay. Next item on the agenda is a closed session that was put on the agenda without going through the board chair. So somebody else can make a motion to go into closed session. You can read the document there in your book. Mayor Pro Tem? You want to read this, consider a closed session?
Okay.
Good.
Closed session, yeah. Closed session under KRS 61.810 to discuss property acquisition.
Need a motion.
Do we have a motion?
Motion to go into closed session.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, we will return to open session after the closed session, and it doesn't say in my book whether or not there'll be anything for the press. No decision will be made, James. Okay, so at this time, we'll adjourn to closed session and come back and have a meeting, finish the meeting out front.